Welcome back. Suicide Fantasy Football, Week 13. This is it, guys. This is the last week before the playoffs. We're pulling out all stops. You should, too. You got to finalize your roster getting ready for the playoffs.
It's not crunch time anymore. Crunch time was the last couple weeks. This is it. It's make or break. Not only are you seeing if you get into the playoffs, but you're shaping your roster for the run in the playoffs, how things are going to be. You really want to look at who's playing who, what's going on, not just this week. You want to make some moves that are going to pay off in Week 14 and Week 15 this week.
Yep. And the final week, Week 16, you got to be ready for the Super Bowl. So first, we're going to give you quarterbacks, as we always do, and I'll start with my pickups. My pickups, Jim, if Joe Flacco is still available, if somebody dropped him because they're sick of Flacco, know that he's playing at home this week against the Steelers. Flacco's going to have a big week. If Flacco's not available, hopefully Henny still is, because he's had 2 good weeks in a row, and going against Buffalo's defense is going to be week number 3.
Yeah, I'm looking at a couple guys. Kaepernick might be out there, might not be out there. Of course you're picking up. He's my first guy.
Agreed.
But my second guy that I'm looking at is Tannehill. Tannehill's playing against the New England Patriots defense. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. It has traditionally been a high-scoring game when the Patriots play the Miami Dolphins. So I think I'm going with Tannehill there. If he's not available, I'm also looking a little bit at Ryan Fitzpatrick this week. I think he's available in about 50% of leagues. He's got a good matchup this week against Jacksonville. If you need somebody for this week to get you in to the playoffs, or you want to look at the next couple weeks, Fitzpatrick has a pretty weak schedule for the next 3 weeks. He's somebody I'd be looking at.
I got to tell you, I said Henny. If Fitzpatrick's available, I'm taking him over Henny. So
yeah,
not over Flacco. Flacco's still my number 1 guy.
I don't like Flacco against Pittsburgh. I can't. I love Flacco at home, but I just think the Steelers-Raven games could be such a slugfest. I don't know if I'd risk my season on that, but I do like the Flacco at home, not Flacco on the road theory.
All right, I'm sitting a guy. You're probably not going to be happy to hear I'm sitting, but I am sitting Andrew Luck. He's had a couple of bad weeks in a row, and if he can't do it against the Bills defense, I don't know who he can do it against. I don't think it's Detroit's day.
Yeah, I'm sitting Andy Dalton this week. This week's a tough week to make sits. I don't think he has a really good week this week.
At the Chargers.
Yeah, I think the Chargers defense looked pretty good yesterday.
Weddle dinged up.
Yeah.
That don't scare you. That don't make you feel better about...
A little bit, but not really. The Chargers played pretty good at home. They're making that final run. They got some pretty decent guys on defense. It's tough to sit guys. I'm not saying if you have, Andy Dalton and some other bum, Tannehill or Chad Henne or one of those guys, of course you're going to play Andy Dalton. But if you have Andy Dalton probably wasn't your starter going into the season. You probably had a pretty decent guy to go into it. Or you had somebody like Ben Roethlisberger and Ben Roethlisberger's hurt. I'd be looking at maybe picking somebody else up instead of Andy Dalton this week.
Got it. All right. So who you dropping, Jim?
I'm dropping 2 guys. I'm dropping Brandon Weeden. I'm not dropping Brandon Weeden because I think he's a bum. I'm dropping Brandon Weeden because he's hurt. I don't know if he's going to play. And I don't think I'm going to play him in the playoffs for the next couple weeks. So I'm probably going to drop Brandon Weeden and possibly pick up Ryan Fitzpatrick. That's what I'm looking at when I'm playing through my numbers. And I'm also going to drop Alex Smith because he's done. He's probably got done the dirtiest of any player in the NFL this year. I think it was cheap what they did to him. I think Harbaugh jerked him around, and I don't think he should have ever
Harbaugh should have just came out and said, listen.
It's not even that.
I don't want to take a chance of an injured guy.
It has nothing to do with that.
So lie to him.
Alex Smith was a free agent, and he told him to come back and play. Alex Smith has done nothing but win, and for you to go out and draft a quarterback like Kaepernick and then play him over him is ridiculous. But this is fantasy football. That's just my opinion, personally.
I'm also dropping a guy you're not going to want to hear I'm dropping, but I'm giving up on Carson Palmer. I don't trust him enough to start him, so I'm not going to keep him on my bench. So I'm dropping Carson Palmer.
I don't know about that.
I know. A lot of people say they don't know about that, but I think if I'm not going to trust a guy playing, then I don't want him on my... I don't want to be tempted to put Carson Palmer in there again when he's let me down 2 weeks ago.
I hear you. I just don't like to get beat by a guy drop, so I hear you. Both different sides.
I do hear that. I hate to drop him and then have someone else pick him up, but I don't want Carson Palmer. All right, definitely bench him. I wouldn't be mad at you for dropping them.
Gotcha.
That's what we think at quarterback. Tell us what you think. Jim at SuicideFantasySports.com or Eric at SuicideFantasySports.com. On Facebook, we're Suicide Fantasy Football. On Twitter, we're SFF Insider. Subscribe to our videos below. Each week, we'll give you quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. And this week, we're even going to throw in a special teams and defense with the tight ends.
Don't forget also, 11:30 every Sunday morning, Blog Talk Radio, Fantasy Football Overload. We're giving you the last-minute advice on starts and sits and inactives and all this stuff. If you've been listening to us the past couple weeks, I know I said this last week.
You got Denario Alexander and no Sean Marino on your bench.
I told you Sunday morning at 11:45, hurry up, pick up no Sean Marino because Ronnie Hillman is not going to start. And, of course, that's what happened. Good pickup. If you're in the league, definitely check out our show, 11:30 to 12:30, Fantasy Football Overload.
And then back again Monday night, 8 to 9 o'clock.